Hi, Namaste. This is Vasant Ponkshe again, a retired bank officer for Bank of Maharashtra. I'm back with the second video in the series which I've started newly titled Bank Nationalisation to Bank Privatisation, in which I'm trying to cover the whole gamut of the Indian economy and the performance of the banks right from 1947 to 2020-21. I'm thankful to you for appreciating my first video in this series in which I tried to cover the situation prevailing in India as far as economy is concerned, social issues are concerned, which made Mrs. Indira Gandhi to decide to nationalize four banks in one stroke on 19 July 1969. I'm thankful to you for appreciating my video. Now, in second video of this series, I am trying to cover the period right from 1970 to 1991. I have decided to take this period of 2 decades because from 1991, under the Prime Ministership of Mr. Raoji, when the Manmohan Singh ji was Finance Minister of the country, the reforms started taking place, and it is said that the budget of 1991 is a historical budget, and that is why I have selected the period from 1970 to 1991. Now, I would like to initially tell you that these 2 decades are most important in the development of Indian economy and the role played by nationalist banks. So, occasionally you may feel that this video is little longer or little bit more in terms of minutes. But I just wanted to push everything in this video, what happened during this period of 20 years, so that this video becomes a good reference film for those who want to study the Indian politics, Indian economics, and the role played by the nationalist banks in the overall development of Indian economy, which lead to one of the best economies, leading economies in the world. So, going a little back, let me start from 1969 and slowly I will come to 1991. The first step which was taken in 1969 after the nationalization of banks was that the MRTP Act was launched, and what we call it as Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices, that act was passed. In the same year, 1969, by the end of the year, a lead bank scheme was introduced. It was a very historical scheme, and all the districts of Indian continent were distributed among State Bank of India, mainly public sector banks, and few districts were allotted to private sector bank. Similarly, one more step was taken in 1969 that the National Institute of Bank Management was formed. It was an autonomous body, still it is an autonomous body, and it was established under the auspices of RBI, and it was intended that the NIBM should develop good officers, good management people to run the banking system in India. The another institution which was formed on 20th September 1969 only to train the officers and employees from cooperative banks how to lend for the agricultural sector, how to deal with rural poor people. So this institution was formed. Subsequently, which was converted into CAB, what we call it today, that is College of Agricultural Banking by Reserve Bank of India, which is situated in Pune in 1974. Now in 1970, industrial licensing policy came into force, compelling that the large businesses and heavy businesses and export-oriented businesses should obtain the license before they start. The other step which was taken in 1970 only, that is on 25th April 1970, the WUDCO was formed to give a proper importance for the housing finance. Next to that, in 1971, because of the collapse of Bretton Woods system, it saw a rupee pegged in terms of pound sterlings, and this caused a great, what we call it as a depreciation of the rupee, but as a result of that, our exports increased by more than 15%. That was a blessing in disguise. Again in 1971, the Lok Sabha polls were preponed, and a new election slogan, we can call it as a slogan of decades and decades, new election slogan was given by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, that is titled as Garibi Hata. It was a great slogan. It proved to be a great slogan. In 1972, the general insurance was nationalized. 73, coal mines and oil companies were nationalized. Again in 73, Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, FEMA, was passed. In 73, the longest rail service in India from Mangalore to Delhi was inaugurated. That is what I am trying to say. That during these 2 decades, so many things have happened, so many progress India has seen. And of course, the support was given in every sector by the nationalized banks and nobody else. The another milestone which took place in 74 that we could struck oil in Bombay High on the platform called Sagar Samrat. Again, going a little back, in 1969 to 71 onwards, a complete reliance was there on the public sector banks, and the national savings were effectively channelized for the development of the different sectors all over India. In many of the sectors, different sectors, these savings were used. As a result of this support to the scientists in 75, Aryabhatta, the first satellite, was launched from a Soviet base. Another milestone development which took place in 1975 is the formation of RRBs, that is regional rural banks. So regional rural banks were formed by the sponsor banks, and every sponsor bank was given responsibility to form a regional rural bank for the development and to extend the cheap credit to the farmers and rural poor and artisans so that the overall development takes place in the rural area also. In 1975 again, the Institute of Banking Personnel and Selection was formed. How imaginary the step was. We shortly call it as a IBPS. IBPS started selecting the introductory, the clerical level, and initially scale 1 officers to be inducted in different banks. So they started common examination. The another milestone, a breaking milestone which we can say, which took place in 1975. What was that? It was launching of 20-point programs by the government of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. That was also a game changer as far as the Indian economy is concerned. And this 20-point program, it was so important, which was formed in 1975. It was revised in 1982. Again, it was revised in 1986. And again, it was restructured in 2006. For the sake of good record, I would like to inform you, I would like to name the points, some of the important points of this 20-point program so that we can understand the visionary thinking of those people from finance, from Reserve Bank of India, from NIBM, from CAB and all these people. So I would like to read out few important points of this 20-point program. What was this? Attack on rural poverty. It's another form of what we say, Garibi Hatao. Then strategy for rain agriculture based on the rainfall agriculture to be increased, then better use of irrigation water, then biggest harvest, then enforcement of lead reforms, then social programs for rural poor, clean drinking water, it was important. Again, health to all. Today also we feel health to all should have been the most important program. The other milestone item of this 20-point program was 2 children norm, which was also very important. Then expansion of education, justice to SC/ST, equality to women, gender bias should not be there, that was the thinking. The new opportunities to be given to women, housing to all, housing for the people, improvement in slums, new strategy for forestry, protection to environment, concern for the customers, energy for the villages, electricity for villages, responsive administration, poverty eradication, power to the people, support to the farmers, labor welfare, food security, clean drinking water as I told you, housing for all, health for all. Again, women welfare. The new angle was added, child welfare. Then again, the another angle was added, youth development. So we can see that so much of the visionary thinking was evident from all these programs, 20-point programs as I told you, launched in 75, revised in 82, again in 86 and again restructured. And all these concepts of SGSY, then SHG, then rural housing, Indira Awas Yojana, all these things, they came from this initial program and the concept of LIG, HIG, then farmers as a backward classes, then support to farmers, then plantation nearby the rural roads, then assistance to poor, all these things, they came in 1975 to, as I told you, it went on up to 2006. What happened to that, I'll try to cover in the next video. Now coming back, in 1976, a bill abolishing bonded labor was passed. That was also an important happening in the Indian economic scene. In 1976, the renowned economist Raj Krishna coined a term that is Hindu rate of growth, referring to India's slower growth rate of economy compared to the rapidly growing other Asian economies, other Asian countries. In 1977, Reliance Industries launched its first IPO. Today, Reliance Industry is the blue-eyed company of all the investors. In 1978, SDFC was formed to have housing loans with a special mortgage facility, so it can be called as a mortgage company of India. Another sign in 1978, the TV commercials was aired in 1978. Throughout this period, various steps were taken and the experiments were done for the overall growth, and the economic culture was developed, obviously with the support of different nationalized banks, those who are operating on the Indian scene, that we can surely say about that.